What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Friday. So at this point, this movie's been out for quite some time. It's almost 30 years old. I feel like the general consensus is that this is a classic, And that being said, I only watched this movie for the first time a couple years ago. I always knew about it. I knew, the hype. Everyone always said great things about it, but for some reason or another, I just never checked it out until pretty recently. And when I first saw this, I was just so blown away. I was like, "Oh my goodness. This it's just a super fun time, super funny. I feel like it has some heart, It has a good positive message at the end. So I totally see why this movie is held in such high regards, and it kind of became, a pop culture phenomenon. To this day, people are still quoting this movie. I mean, a lot of the lines in this have become, big time internet slang. Like, I mean, I'm beating a dead horse here. Everyone knows this. Anyone who's reviewed this has probably said this, but I mean, the "Bye Felicia" line. Everyone is familiar with that phrase. I don't know if people still use it, but I remember a couple years ago, everyone was using that phrase on the internet, and I like I said, I only saw this movie a couple years ago for the first time, so I would always hear that line. I had no idea it was from this movie. There's quite a few memorable lines, and stuff where like I'll see it, like maybe like other YouTubers will use clips for different videos, or you'll just hear people reference it. But another memorable, I like when they're like, "Damn," and uh, and then I like when Smokey's like, "You got knocked the fuck out." And then at the end, I like Smokey's line where he's like, I don't know if this is totally, if I'm saying the line totally correct, but he's like, "I was just lying. You know this." So there's so many memorable lines. You have great, memorable, likable characters, and the main villain in this, he's super unlikable in a good way. Like you just you want to see Debo get it so bad because he's just such an a-hole the whole movie, and like, who's gonna stand up to this dude? He's like 6'5", 280, probably more. I don't know, but you know what I mean. The dude is just built. He's just like mean mugging the whole time. He never even cracks a smile. He's just like, you know, like, dude's mad scary. Like, no one's gonna step to Debo. So when he finally gets it, it's so satisfying. The ending is so satisfying. It's nice to see Craig. He gets the girl. He he takes on Debo, beats him. Uh, you know, it's all good. It's all good in the hood. I always say that. I mean, if no pun intended, because it is set in the hood. Um, so, anyways, I'm just gonna get into a little. I'm like I always say in all these reviews. I'm jumping all over the place. So I've been talking about the story a little bit. So I might as well just give a quick plot synopsis. So the two main characters, you have Craig, played by Ice Cube, and you have Smokey, played by Chris Tucker. Smokey is a drug dealer, and Craig was working, but he just got fired from his job on his day off, so he has nothing to do. So he's hanging with Smokey. Uh, Craig is not a smoker. He doesn't like weed. He's more of a drinker. But one way or another, Smokey convinces him to smoke. The stuff that they're smoking is actually this guy, Big Worm. It's his stash. he's like fronting it to Smokey basically to sell. And yeah, they're basically getting high on Big Worm's supply, and Smokey doesn't have enough money to pay him back, give him his profit or whatever. So when Smokey's talking to Big Worm, he mentioned that Craig smoked it as well, which is unfortunate because he doesn't even smoke, and he only like took a couple hits, and now he's wrapped up in all this drama. So Big Worm is like, if you don't give me my money, I'm gonna kill you and Craig. So then for the rest of the movie, Smokey and Craig are trying to come up with $200 so they can pay Big Worm, and that's the basic plot. And so there's like the threat of getting killed by Big Worm, but also just Debo is just messing with them the entire time. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good story, and actually what's interesting is Ice Cube co-wrote it. So it's written by Ice Cube and DJ Pooh. I'm familiar with Ice Cube. I know his music a little bit. I'm not super well versed in all of his music, but I mean, his music's pretty darn famous. I mean, I know his big songs and stuff. So anyways, this other guy who wrote it, DJ Pooh, I'm not familiar with him. I'm assuming he's a music guy as well. But yeah, I've never really heard any of his stuff. But he actually plays Red, who's the guy who got his bike stolen and got his chain stolen, and he just gets bullied. He gets bullied so bad throughout the entire movie. That's something that I think is so funny about this movie. It's like they're all adults. They're all at least in their 20s, and they're like still getting bullied. Like what a shame. I mean, you think like you think like, okay, like I'm through with this. I already graduated school. I don't have to deal with all this, school BS and bullying and cliques and shit. And then these fools, they're all like in their 20s at least, maybe even older, some of the characters, and they're still getting bullied every day. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's just, I mean, what are you gonna do? You can't do anything to Debo, but they're like so nice too. If they ever try to stand up to him, they're like, hey, can I maybe borrow my bike back, my own bike, But yeah, so basically Ice Cube co-wrote the movie, and I think, and in addition to the to DJ Pooh, who made a cameo, who plays Red, actually the director made a cameo in this. He played there's the scene where they're at the convenience store, and the crackhead guy, he's trying to like sue them. He's like, give me $20 or whatever. The guy who works at the store and is mopping the floor, that's actually the director. And something that's interesting, this movie was actually his directorial debut. He never directed a feature film before, but he did direct a bunch of really iconic music videos, and one of the music videos that he directed was Ice Cube's Today Was a Good Day video. I don't know if that's the exact song title, I might be butchering, but I know that song. That's a classic song, but I thought that was pretty darn interesting, and I feel like the director was pretty capable. I mean, like I said, I like this movie. I think it was shot well. I think the story is great. The characters are great. It's a good time. But the going back to the story, I think it's impressive how Ice Cube and his buddy wrote this. They're not classically trained in film. They're from the music world, so a lot of people who work in the film industry, that's their life since a young age. They've been trained. They've gone to film school. They've worked on various films. Blah blah blah. And for Ice Cube to not even be in that world. I mean, now he is. Nowadays he's been in so many films, but I mean, for him to just like jump into the movie business and write a pretty darn good story, I mean, that's pretty impressive. His acting was good too. Like I said, Chris Tucker was great. The whole cast was great. It was a good time. Um, I'm just gonna take a little break here because I've said a lot of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. I just gotta make sure I'm not missing anything right now. So just bear with me for a second. I Every time I do this, I always write out a whole list, to keep myself on track and make sure I don't forget anything. But I pretty much did say everything that I wanted to talk about. Um, I mean, yeah, one thing, I don't know if, I mean, I did mention the characters, but I like you have all these wacky characters. The crackhead guy is funny. And just there's so many wacky characters in the neighborhood. There's, that instance where I believe the character's name is uh, Miss Parker. She cheats on her man with the priest, and the priest, he's like trying to smoke with them, and I mean, Felicia's kind of a funny character. Debo's funny. It's just they're all these wacky character. Not character. They're all these wacky characters. I think they're all like kind of weird in a good way. I don't know. They're interesting. It's not like, no character in this movie is bland. Everyone has something that makes them unique, and everyone is pretty darn entertaining in this. Um, Chris Tucker was really entertaining. He was really animated. I mean, he he was pretty darn young when he did this. I don't know exactly how young, but I don't think he was a huge star when he did this. But I mean, he steals the show. It's no wonder he went on to have a huge career after this, even though his character is a little bit more extroverted and intentionally funny. Ice Cube's character is more the straight man. He's more serious, but he has some funny moments. A moment that I really like with Ice Cube's character is, I don't know why I like this scene that much. I don't know. It's just like a random little quick scene, but I like when he's like going to grab his dad the ice water, and he drops the ice cube on the ground, and then he just looks up, and he's just smiling so hard because he's about to give his dad the crusty floor ice cube. I don't know. I thought that was really funny. So his character is funny. I'm I'm gonna wrap things up in a second because, like I said, I hit most of the stuff that I wanted to talk about. But I mentioned earlier that the ending is really satisfying. It's a good message. I mean, Ice Cube, he was gonna resort to, doing some more violent stuff. He was gonna whip out the gun. I mean, he did whip it out, but he didn't use it. So that was cool. It's like it didn't go to that dark place. It's like he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna beat him up. I'm just gonna fight him like a man. That was cool. It was cool seeing him get beat because like Debo became like really unlikable at the end. He was already super unlikable, but then he's like out here like slapping females and stuff and just acting crazy. So Ice Cube's character Craig took care of him. So then the neighborhood was safe. Red got his chain back, got his bike back. Like I said, I already said this, but Ice Cube got the girl. They planned to hang the next day. Smokey got the money, so they didn't get killed by a big worm. It was just a super satisfying ending. This entire movie was satisfying. It's a fun time, like I said, super funny, has a lot of heart. I mean, if you haven't seen it, check it out. I haven't seen the sequels, and I do want to check those out. I don't know when I'll get to those, but I do want to check those out. I'm pretty excited to see those. But like I just already said 1 trillion times, this is a fantastic movie. 10 out of 10 would recommend. I'm going to cut off the video here in a second. But thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.